Hello. Today's conversation is with the band Glass Grenade, who is a pop punk band based out of Austin, Texas. And we met about a month ago playing a couple shows together at the Carousel Lounge here in Austin, Texas, which, if you don't know, is a very cool old venue that is super quirky and has just a lot of feel and vibe to it. But in our conversation, we talk about what it's like to be a pop punk band in Austin, the role of punk in society today, and their histories as musicians, both Alex and Michael. But before we get to that, please remember to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channels. And if you would like to consider supporting my content generally, please visit my Patreon page. And remember, if you sign up on my Patreon for just $3 a month, you can submit topics or questions for me to ask guests on the podcast or to address on my own. Welcome to Music in Mind with Anthony Calkin. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Music in Mind. I'm here with Glass Grenade. This is Alex, who plays drums, and
Hi.
Michael, who plays guitar and does vocals. And we met probably about a month ago when Alex was organizing a few shows over at the Carousel Lounge in Austin, Texas, which is this quirky, kind of fun, goofy, very old bar. I learned it's from like 1963 or something.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. A relic.
But, a lot of the original stuff is in there still, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild spot. I like it though.
Yeah, it is. I do too. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
But yeah, I got to hear them play, and they just make this really fun, just like heavy punk, pop punk, just fun in your face music. It's great. I love it. So yeah. How's it going, guys?
Going good. Yeah, going good. On this fine, what is it, Tuesday?
It is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's true.
I lose track sometimes.
Yeah. So I've seen that you guys have been posting videos from the studio.
This is true.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's in the works?
We just recorded our second song. It's called Forgotten.
Okay.
And we're probably gonna put it out here soon.
Couple days. Yeah, week or so. I mean, however long it takes to get how Spotify and all that kind of
right
takes to upload. There's just a few little tweaks that our producers got to do to finish it, but yeah.
Cool. How many songs are getting released?
We're kind of doing it one at a time at the moment.
Okay, interesting.
So just whenever a song's done, we're just gonna put it out there, and just for everyone to hear. And then eventually we'll make all those songs into the first album, which is gonna be called Frag Out.
Frag Out?
Frag Out. Yes.
Okay, nice. Is that a reference to something?
Absolutely, it's a reference to something. I was in the military for about 3 years, and right before we throw a grenade, we would have to shout "frag out."
Oh,
so this is kind of, and our name is Glass Grenade.
Frag out, and you throw it.
Yeah.
All right.
So this first album, it's called Frag Out because this is like the first thing that's being thrown out there.
I see. Okay, cool. So is this the first set of recordings you guys have done as a band?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like professionally, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, we were in a band together before, in a different band, and Michael played bass and I still played drums, and then we did some recordings with that band, but we eventually split off from. There's three of us, and then we decided to go our own way and do this.
Okay.
So
nice. Well, that's
drama
exciting.
Happens, stuff gets said, and yeah, it happens. It's the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah, musicians are temperamental.
Exactly.
And not reliable. It's terrible. Musicians are the worst, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just did a post about that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It was one of those memes where it's like, "What do we want? To play music. When do we practice? Monday. I'm no longer good on Saturdays." And like,
I gotta work.
Yep.
Let's postpone. It's like always something.
Yep. Yeah. How do you work that out in terms of working in music? It's tough for every musician because it's this thing where there's kind of a problem. Whereas if you're really trying to pursue music, jobs really get in the way in terms of both time and tying you to a place. So if you need to be like, oh, I need to drive to a show that's 3 hours away tonight, you kind of have to be able to say yes. But at the same time, then you're not going to be able to make any money.
Exactly. And that's where it's, and I was talking to somebody about this, but I was like, playing music is such a big investment and commitment because first of all, I think about how, first of all, it takes years to learn an instrument. Yeah. Whatever it is. And then you get together with someone and you have to mesh with them. And then you have to write songs together. And then you have to practice those songs. Then you got to book shows and do that and buy equipment. And that's expensive. And you're not really getting paid anything, on the back end. And so it's like a lot of work. And it's like, you have to really love that shit to do it. You know what I mean?
It's not an investment a bank would make, probably.
No. Yeah.
I mean, it really surprises me back in like the 60s and 70s where they would just go to a bar and they're like, okay, I kind of like how these guys sound. Well, I'm going to hire them right away. I'm going to give them a chance, throw them into the fire, see how they do.
I wish.
When they kick off, they kick off. If they don't, well, they'll be in debt to us forever because we own them.
Shit, I might just take that deal, dude. Like,
I mean, the time of house bands at bars is gone.
Yeah.
It is,
right.
And I think it's like you either live long enough to be a hero, or you either live to be a hero, or live long enough to see yourself as the villain. In some circumstances.
That's an interesting expression. Yeah. So what's the villain in music? How do you become the villain?
By selling out, I'm guessing.
I see. Yeah. Selling out. Yeah, right. Yeah, how do you feel as a punk band about selling out?
Dude, I would sell out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care, dude. I'd be like, you're gonna go tour with Britney Spears. I'd be like, sign me up. I'm there now, dude. Like,
Granted, my coworker would be super pissed off because he's like a super Britney fan. You're Britney? What? Fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I would absolutely sell out.
I don't even think, even if I wasn't really even getting paid, they're like, we're gonna throw you up on this huge. Well, if they were like, hey, we're gonna put you on these huge stages, I'd be like, that's cool too, because
those tours though are such a hassle. You have to get paid, like maybe one show.
Yeah. Like, I'd be like,
it's like, okay, you're getting paid, but that payment is going to go towards gas, food, probably hotel room,
right,
strings, drum heads, who knows what.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the sellout thing is funny. The people who are really against selling out, I imagine most of them have not had the opportunity to sell out.
Right. Yeah.
Like that hasn't been presented to them, I would guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway.
Give and take, You could play devil's advocate all day, but you never know unless you're in those shoes, right?
That is true.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's the pop punk scene in Austin like? I'm actually fairly new to Austin myself. I moved here like 2 months ago. Have you guys been here for a while? Did you grow up here or anything like that?
I grew up in Houston.
Okay.
I grew up in Houston, and then I moved to California. And then when I moved from California to here in like late 2017, and then I was actually gone from here for like 5 months in 2018. So really, I've kind of been here, kind of settling in since like 3 years, 3.5 years. And I don't know, dude, like there's not really like a punk scene.
I don't think so. I think there's like spot places probably where if you get lucky you can find them. But yeah, I lived in San Marcos for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was a sheltered child, so I didn't really go out and do stuff. I was more focused on getting that Eagle Scout. So I never went out and did parties or went to shows. And then I became a slave to a job, and then I joined the military, then this and that and that and this.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So, but both Texas people, I mean, San Marcos is pretty close.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It's like an hour
and a half if there's no traffic.
And the thing is, like San Antonio is that they have a really good like metal.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Great for metal.
And there's more of a scene there. But here, I would have to say like it's spotty. Like, yeah, there's all kinds of music here for sure. But I would say like the overwhelmingly majority of things is more like cover bands.
It does seem like there's a lot of cover bands. Also, I don't know if you've noticed this, and there's no offense to Austin musicians or whatever, but so
take all the offense you need.
That's good. So coming out here, I started going to like blues jams downtown and stuff, and like killer guitar players, really, really good. And then I checked out some of the cover bands, and the cover bands out here are bad.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like coming from LA, like the cover bands there are amazing. Like just note perfect. They sound exactly like the original. They all wear like tuxes and stuff. Like it's this whole thing, like the whole corporate band world. And the cover bands out here that get gigs on like 6th Street, like relatively high paying gigs, 4-hour sets are like awful. And I don't understand how that's possible. I don't get it at all.
I
think they'd need to be good to make money.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's such good players around here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've encountered that also.
I have. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I'm not the biggest fan of cover bands. So I mean, yeah. I don't want to talk too much shit.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
But
this is just general. This is no bands in particular.
Yeah.
I think cover songs are fine, but if you kind of lose your individuality as a band if you just do covers.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your mission? What's the Glass Grenade mission as a band?
I don't know if we've like sat down and established what a mission is.
Play songs and do shit.
That's great.
Yeah. Think just like if we kind of take it just maybe like every few months. So like we'll probably be done with the record probably like March-ish around there, you know, and then the goal is just to keep playing shows more consistently and, you know, meet more people like you. We got to meet you and then get onto bigger stages.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
That's really it, you know?
Yeah, it's really, it's tough also because I feel like we're in a time where it's very difficult to get people to go out to shows. I think people even what we're doing now, we're talking over Zoom. We live probably fairly near
I don't know, that Van Full of Nuns show was fucking insane.
That was a good show.
What was this?
During COVID. We went to see a group called Van Full of Nuns, and they're a pop punk cover band.
Okay.
And that night was wild. It was like, I was expecting to see like 10 people. There's like 30 or
It's
40
awesome,
people.
dude. It's like we walked in and it's like, and I wish, and I was telling Michael, it's like, I wish there was places like this, like venues that you could do this every weekend, because you go in there, you could hear the fucking punk rock from like a mile away when you pull up, and you have to like walk, and it's by the lake, and you have to go down, but you can hear it, dude. You can feel it, you know, when you're like walking up to a show.
That's
like,
great.
Yeah, dude. And you can just feel the power chords. And so you're like, and so like you get there, dude, everyone's like in flannels and like trucker hats and chucks, and it's like just a scene. I'm like back in high school, and like everyone's just like punk, playing pool and just like eating pizza, dude. I'm like, this is fucking, there needs to be a venue like this somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, they're a cover band, but man, they put on a really good show. Yeah. And it's a good vibe, and like that's, you know, if we could do stuff like that, that would be cool. Yeah.
Well, I feel like the scene establishment is so important.
Yeah, so important.
It's part of why I moved out here, because the problem with Southern California is it's so disconnected. And so you can get like these one-off shows all around, but it's very difficult to be in a situation where there's other bands you're playing with, and then like a consistent audience. And I feel like that combination is something that's really important. I've noticed it a lot in the comedy world. Like the Comedy Store in LA was this spot where professional comedians of all levels would come out, and then audiences would pay them, and then they'd just all do short sets, but they were all coming out all the time. And so like it's kind of this idea that it would be great to have a club that has kind of a diverse range of music, but it's just a bunch of professional musicians who are all pursuing it hard, coming out, and like everybody comes into short sets like 4 nights a week or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. And I think I don't know what like the goal of a lot of these venues are, but you know, like when we played Carousel Lounge, there was so many different bands going on, like After Us. You know what I mean? It was just all over the place, which is cool, you know, but it would be cool if they're like, all right, that bar, dude, that's like a total punk bar. And like, it kind of just like absorbs and like brings in like that type of scene. And like, it's cool to go do that and be like, hey dude, let's go to this bar. It's like a total metal place, or let's go over here. It's like total acoustic indie stuff. And like, I like that. I like going and being able to go and like, you know, but now there's not really, that doesn't really exist anymore. It seems like. Yeah.
It's kind of a weird spot that music and live shows and stuff are in everywhere.
It is weird.
Yeah. So what about getting into music? How'd you each get into playing? Did you study music in school or in college or anything?
Did you?
I didn't really study music. My grandpa used to play a Fender Stratocaster and a nice Martin guitar every once in a while. And I'm like, always bugged my parents, like, I want a guitar. Finally, I get a guitar, and I took lessons for maybe a year and a half, got to learn a lot of basics, and then just kind of off and on playing chords and stuff.
How old
then
was
I got it. This was 16 years old, I think.
Oh, okay, nice.
About sophomore-ish year of high school. And I was first got in a really bad band. Well, first bands are bad bands, right? With one of my best friends to this day. Like, we were in the same science class. A pick falls out of his wallet, and he's like, and I was like, oh, you play guitar too? let's be in a band.
That's great. Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of my first band. And then I was kind of on and off with church bands, contemporary church bands.
Oh, nice. You've done that.
Yeah. But I was a bass player or a vocalist for those. And yeah, when I was in the Army, I ended up buying a couple of instruments in Hawaii, and just so I could join these contemporary bands on post and keep playing.
That's cool. Do you still play that stuff?
Yes and no. Like if my mom needs help with trying to find something
right
with those songs, like she's just now trying to learn how to play guitar. Oh. And like I'm just doing all this stuff. It's like, how are you doing it? I'm like, I'm doing it like this.
Yeah, that stuff. It's always fun. There's a church I sub at sometimes in the LA area. Like when I go back for shows, I'll use it as a way to pay for the flight. And it's just fun. It's like all that kind of U2 stuff, just like really washy.
You got paid?
Oh man, you didn't get paid for it?
Hell no.
Oh, that sucks.
Not really. I got paid in experience.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it's good. I mean, good band practice and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's sweet. And some of it now, like you wouldn't know it's not Imagine Dragons or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So, Alex, what about you? In terms of your history with music.
I remember being in like 4th grade and going to like this music night at my like whatever elementary school, and they were like, "What do you want to play an instrument?" And I saw a drum practice pad. I was like, "Dude, I want to do that." And then, but my parents were like, "You can't even hear that." You know, my mom was like, "You can't hear it, dude. You don't want to play that." I'm like, but then I was like, so I didn't know any better. I was like, okay, and so I played the trumpet for a little bit, and I hated it. And then I'll switch to piano, and I did that for a little bit, and that was cool, but I didn't really like stick to it for a long time. And then like fast forward to like 6th, 7th grade, you know, I'm a total like punk rock kid. Got my first drum kit, and I just played, I practiced drums. I didn't know what I was doing for like a long time. I would just put like big headphones on, and sometimes I would have to duct tape it because it was so loud. And like, you know, that back then the headphones, they weren't like a soundproof. So you could hear it, and I'm playing so loud. And I would just put stuff on and try to play to it, you know? And I remember one day when it clicked, I was listening to Adam's song and it clicked, dude. I was like, this is 3/4 time. And I was playing it around. I was like, wow, this makes.
That's great. And that's totally self-taught.
And so I taught myself, and I would come home. So I joined the drum line when I was in high school, but I made horrible grades. So I couldn't really be on it. So I was like kind of half on, half off. But I had a snare, and I learned how to like do it and like play it and properly read the music and do all that shit. I just never got to like do it because my grades sucked. I was either like skateboarding, hanging out with my girlfriends, or playing drums because I just wanted to. I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? So I just like practiced nonstop, dude, all day, like 5 hours a day. And then like senior year, and then like junior year, you know, I started playing in bands. People like started being like, "Damn, dude, you're good. Let's play." And there was like a bigger punk rock scene then, so it was really fun. Then like senior year, I started like teaching drums, like doing drum lessons and stuff. And that's kind of where I started.
Nice. It's amazing, self-taught like that, just by ear too. That's awesome. Yeah. It's an interesting issue with ear work versus reading in this, because I have a lot of students, and I have this. It's a problem that I have, and I like to ask other musicians about this too. Because students will ask me, why do I need to learn how to read, or need to know how to identify what a chord is, or things like that. And it's a little bit tricky because my answer is something like you don't need to, but it's going to become very difficult if you're trying to communicate with other musicians and you have no language to do that. And so if your ear is so good that nobody needs to speak a word to you, fine. But most people's ear is not that good. And so if you're playing a show and they're like, it's an A chord, and you're lost by that, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. That was really funny when I first met Alex, like with this guitar player, I'm like, okay, what key is it in? And he just looked at me like just a deer in the headlights, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It goes like this.
Fucking guitar players.
Okay. Well, what scale are you using? What's a scale?
What's a scale? Oh, no, that's bad.
Did he really say that?
No, he didn't.
Oh. What?
Or like I tried to explain to him that he was playing a pentatonic scale, and he's like, what's a pentatonic scale? It's like, it's what you're doing right here.
I mean, the name, what it is its name, too. It's 5 tones. It's easy.
5 tones, yes. So, I mean, that it really challenged me a lot with like, because I've never had to like deconstruct a song like that before.
Right.
Because I'm always with church bands, the notes are right there in front of me.
Yes. Yeah, well, it's interesting also because something like punk music or rock music in general, there isn't really a history of written notation for it. And there's all those tab websites that are
tablatures,
way wrong. And I feel like guitar players have this problem where the way they learn, they don't develop good ears or good reading ability, because they kind of rely on tabs, and they're like, that's not quite right, and they sort of figure it out and sort of don't. But the tab is a crutch, and then the fact that they can't read is like they're crippled in that direction. But drummers, it's different, right?
Well, yeah, because I can't say like what's an A chord and hear it.
Yeah.
But I can hear, and actually it's funny because I just bought an acoustic guitar.
Oh, nice.
Like my grandpa always played. He played like, he was a big musician in Cuba and stuff. And I just never learned how to play guitar. And I'm like, every time I tell Michael, I'm like, hey dude, can you make it sound like this? And I have to like send him references from YouTube or be like, I don't know what this is, but what is this? What's this chord? Like, make it sound like this. Yeah. And I was like, dude, okay, I need to like just know what I'm talking about. So I went and bought an acoustic and I'm started taking lessons so I could at least know.
Oh, you're taking lessons. Oh, wow.
I'm taking lessons so I can learn and at least know a little bit, like enough to do stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think the more instruments you understand, the easier it is to navigate all sorts of situations.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying, Michael?
I don't know.
You said if?
I said peanut butter jelly.
Okay. So I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Jelly. No, it was a lost. It was something lost.
Okay.
It was lost, but now it's found.
Okay. Sounds good.
I don't know. We're both ADD. So.
No. It's good. It's good.
It's ADOS for me. For those that don't know, that means attention deficit. Ooh, shiny.
Nice. So what's the writing process for Glass Grenade? Do you both write?
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, we sit down and like see what just verses or just rewrite lyrics mostly, or what lately has been. But all the songs that we do now, I've been working on for the past maybe 10 years ish.
Oh, wow.
Except for Forgotten. I did that one within 5 months.
Okay.
It's like our best one.
That's always how it works, though.
Yeah.
Inspiration's quick.
It's like I came up with this thing and I don't know what to do with it. Now it's just like, dude, I like it. We need to make a song with that now. I'm like, okay. What do I make this song about?
So it's very lyric driven.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. I just come up with like lyrics. Like I'll write and just kind of show Michael and be like, hey dude, look, these are some ideas that I have. What do you think? And then he'll, we'll kind of just get together and maybe put stuff on guitar. Like he already had a lot of material before, but now we're getting more to like getting around to like kind of stuff that I wrote.
Cool.
I think Gay Love Song started out with the lyrics and then the music came later on. That was the first song that I wrote in its entirety.
I see.
And everything else has just been, I like how I played this, so I'm gonna expand on this. But now where it's just like we're gonna start with lyrics and put music to the lyrics.
Yeah, it's interesting which aspect takes the forefront, lyrics or music like that. I think I feel like there's a lot of bands that don't focus that much on the lyrics. And I think in a sense you don't always have to. Like if you listen to like Lithium by Nirvana or something, the chorus is just right. But it's an amazing song. It's so well written.
Yeah.
The bass line, everything about that song is perfect.
Oh, man.
But the chorus
Kurt
is just
Cobain was a fucking genius anyways. I mean,
right.
He can Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's fun though, right? To like approach things from different ways instead of just being like, all right, it's the same approach, like guitar. Okay, I got this. So let's put lyrics. Or like I even wrote a drum part. I'm like, hey dude, like I just wrote a crazy part. I'm like, let's put guitar to this.
Nice.
And just go from like different directions and do it like that. It's always, I think you kind of grow like that, and it's interesting and fun to just approach the writing process in all kinds of different ways.
Well, the meaning is really different because if you're going in lyric first, you're expressing an idea or something, and what you're expressing, if I have this awesome drum part, the meaning of that is very different, and the intention behind it is different. It's more sort of bass and gestural and physical. Like this feels awesome, versus this is an idea I'm trying to tell people about.
For sure. And I'm a very I love lyrics. Mm-hmm. So I love listening. Lyrics mean something to me.
Yep.
So if I can connect with lyrics, or like if I can't connect with the lyric, I'm just like, dude, I'm not even feeling this. And I can't even like play the song really. But if I can like connect with it and be like, oh, I feel this in my soul, then that means something to me. And I'm going to like express that through my drums as well, or whatever. I don't know if you're like that.
Yeah, David. Yeah, I'm big into lyrics. I always listen to lyrics. I think first is I generally listen to lyrics.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, lyrics are great. I mean, it's what a song is.
Yeah.
You're not listening to a symphony.
Yeah, true.
It's like I'll get into the lyrics, but then I'm going straight for the bass because it's like the bass is that power.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's the feeling.
I've been playing bass for so long. It's like having to change from being a bass player to a guitar player. It's like, how different is this? Oh my god.
Is it easier though? Like when you record bass in the studio, it seems like it's super easy for you just to like lay the bass track down.
It is. For Forgotten, that was just on the spot.
That was I love that bass line too.
Yeah.
It sounds really good.
Yeah. With Gay Love Song, I had some ideas with some of the bass players that we've auditioned before but never took. And I was like, oh, I like the way he did that, so I'm gonna figure out how to do that.
Yep.
And incorporate it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense.
So you used to play bass in your old band with the two of you?
Yes.
Okay, and then you switched to guitar for this one.
Yeah. For the contemporary bands, I normally played bass, but if there was a song that I could sing, I would sing it and then play bass.
I see.
I always have I have a little dyslexia, don't we all? That just keeping track of that rhythm and singing just
it's hard.
Scrambles my mind so much.
Yeah. But you're doing it with guitar.
I'm still doing it. Yes.
Oh, you're saying you're still getting scrambled.
I'm still getting scrambled in some instances.
Okay.
But I always found it singing and playing the guitar was easier.
Yeah.
Because this is your rhythm right here. Mm-hmm. Like you don't really have to focus on it as much as the bass.
Right. Well, I think also by nature, guitar is an accompanimental instrument. It's built to accompany singing. That's sort of like the 2,000-year-old history of that instrument.
Yeah.
And I feel like the bass is more structural.
Just tell that to Les Claypool.
Yeah, well, I don't have his number, but oh man, that guy's great.
We're dropping all sorts of names today.
Yeah.
Hitting the DMs.
Yeah. The DMs, man.
So you brought up auditioning a bass player.
Yes.
It's interesting the way that the bands form, because I have this idea the best time to form a band is in high school when you don't know how to play yet and you learn together. Because there's a problem when you're 30 or whatever, that people who you're going to play with are also probably going to be around that age and they need money. And so you can pay people and then they'll do probably a really, really good job, especially if you're paying them well. But then they have no buy-in, creative buy-in to the band. And so it's not really a band. It's just you and the guy you hired.
Yep.
Yeah.
Versus bringing somebody in, but then there's the gamble that they're not going to be reliable if you're not paying them right away.
Right. And I think that's kind of why a lot of people just kind of flaked out with us, because it's like some people I liked how they sounded, but like, I mean, Alex, we only knew each other for a year, but I knew within that first month that we would click together within the other band. So like when the guitar players split up, I at least wanted to just talk to him and say, hey, what happened? Oh, that's what happened. You want to do our own thing? But yeah, it does come to that like reliability factor, especially with us. Hello Train, you got derailed.
Reliability.
Do you have anything to input on that?
I didn't know where you were going with it, but yeah,
it was kind of a feed off of what
yeah,
Anthony
like
was saying.
we're just trying to find like just a basis, because it's just us two right now.
Yeah.
And like, we're not gonna not play shows and stuff because we don't have a basis. Like, we're gonna build as we fly or whatever, but be good. And we get a lot of people, we'll post something on Facebook or something like, hey, we're looking for a bassist, and people will hit us up, and then they kind of flake. They're like, oh no, I can't. And there's, like we were talking about earlier, there's the work schedule too. Like, no one can, well, hey, I can't do anything until like, I can only go from like 9 to 9:30 on Wednesday. They got like
it's sweet.
It's
great,
super busy or something. It's like, man, well, how do you work with someone like that? Fortunately,
especially when it's time to do a gig,
right? Yeah, then you got to set up some serious time to be able to go and do that. And it's just kind of difficult. And like me and Michael both have a pretty flexible schedule. Like, I work from home, and I kind of make my own hours and stuff. And Michael gets off at a really decent time, and so we kind of have that flexibility. And on top of that, we're both dedicated.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, we're consistently practicing every week. Like, rarely do we, if something comes up, whatever, no big deal. But we're consistent and we're dedicated. And we're doing this. And it takes a little bit of discipline. Like, I think it's a little bit, but maybe it's a lot for most people. Just want to sit around and play. When it comes down to it, man, it's work. It's a lot of work.
Yep, it is.
And it's not just fun and games and I'm gonna bring a 6-pack and we're gonna jam, bro. Like, nah, dude, this is like real shit. This is work, and we're here to work, dude. Like, we're putting in serious work hours.
Yep.
And you're not getting paid for it either, and you better love it.
Right.
So that's what it is, dude.
Well, because the idea is eventually at the other end, people will value it enough that they will pay you for it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the goal, at least as I see it, the goal of all that practice is that you're building something that you put out that actually is valuable.
Right.
And then if you create value, then people will respond by giving you value back, and that kind of cycle.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of people too are like, well, how much am I going to get paid? Am I going to make money? And they look at it from that perspective. We don't. We're just like, whatever, dude. Like, we're just going to do this because we love it. Like, the money, of course, who doesn't want to get paid, dude? I like nice shit too. I want to get paid millions of dollars to play my music, but
well, you were going to play for Britney for free. Dude, she has money. Don't do that.
I'd probably do that for a couple weeks. Like, all right, nah, you know what? Put me on the payroll.
Yeah.
Like, can I get paid as a stagehand? I can do stuff. I can lift things. Yeah. I know how to plug something in.
I'll play shows and I'll get paid to be her drum tech.
Sure. Yeah. Oh man. So you both have a history with pop punk then? Like, you grew up with it. It's sort of like your music.
Oh, dude,
pretty much, yeah.
Like, I grew up in punk rock originally.
Okay.
Just like, hardcore and punk and street punk and stuff like that. And then I remember being like, like AFI, back when they were a hardcore band, that was my favorite band. Back in like 7th, 8th grade. And then I knew who Blink-182 was, dude, but I was like, dude, fuck them. They're sellouts and this and that. And then it wasn't until I had that mentality. Yeah, and then when you're like in sophomore year, and this dude that was on the drum, I was like, hey, you need to check this out. Check this drummer out. I'm like, all right, whatever. And it was Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Dude, I remember being in like, I forget which class it was, but I remember the class. It was like one of those classrooms that were like in those buildings that are not in the main building, but they're like the trailer building.
Oh, the trailer classroom.
Yeah. Being there, dude, and like, this class sucks, but I'll have my headphones and I listened to it. And dude, it was the greatest album I've ever heard. And I was like, no one plays drums like this, in punk. Like, it's all just the same shit. And I was like, that's how I want to play. Like, he's making music with his drums.
Yes.
He's doing
it's
shit. And and I was like, that's what I want to do. And that just like lit a fire in me to like think so crazy outside the box and do crazy parts and do that kind of stuff. I think a lot of drummers got influenced by Travis. You know, it's not really like a.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you play like with that physicality of him too. The way you play, it's like.
Yeah, it's like super aggressive.
He really does. He does.
And it fit me perfect because I'm already like aggressive. I want to play hard and stuff.
You're like mad at your cymbals.
But I'm not mad, dude. I'm just like into it, and it's just
having fun.
Yeah. And that just stuck with me. You know what I mean? Like doing that. So, yeah.
That's great. And then you learned it by ear.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, listen, like, what's he doing on the hi-hat? Oh, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure I probably like with some piano lessons that I had previously and like doing some stuff in band and like that helped, but just really getting it in and just trying. I mean, like, okay, I got to get this, and just spending hours, dude, like every day. And it finally just clicked. I was like, wow, dude, this is the time frame. Like, this is how this works, dude. And I remember specifically it was Adam's song, and everything just clicked all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a big turning point for me.
Well, I feel like that expressiveness of his drumming specifically, but drumming in pop punk versus like other underground types of punk, where it's like balls to the wall, like crazy fast solos and just beating the hell out of the drums kind of a thing. Like that anger. It's a very different way of approaching what the function of that instrument is.
Right.
Keeping time versus just elevating the mood in the room to just this insanity. Because you play the loudest instrument by far, and like, I'm just going to make everybody go insane right now.
Right. Yeah, and it's almost like I want you to feel the emotions with how I'm playing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, grooves. Like grooves versus that kind of a thing.
Yeah, just the same thing. Like anyone can do like this fast punk beat and then yeah. Okay, and then it's like the same thing every time. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. What about the bass and or guitar side of it? Like who were some musicians when you were young you were looking to, like, that's something special?
None really. I would always look up to my friend Josh.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's more personal then.
Yeah, it's a little more personal because he was taking music classes, and he studied music theory for a while in high school or in college before he changed his degree. So I always look up to him as a musician, and like I kind of wanted to play like him or do my own thing, but seek his approval. Like, I have this big senpai notice me mentality with him, and he went to our last show, and yes, senpai did notice. So I'm like, oh my god, blush. Like, he really wants to be more involved with the stuff that we're doing, and while I'm trying to figure out ways he can really incorporate himself.
I see.
Maybe just as a backup bass player or a fill-in bass player for us, or we don't know yet. We're kind of still discussing that. But types of music I listen to, Blink-182, obviously, Sum 41 a bit, Dead Kennedys, Dead Milkmen, Ramones, obviously. And that was kind of like the core foundation for punk. But also like listening to metal, like System of a Down, Disturbed, and
Disturbed.
Disturbed. Oh wow!
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. But yeah, then in the military, I really got to expand my knowledge on artists. So I started listening to Rise Against. I even got symphonic metal like Nightwish, Glory Hammer, Powerwolf. It's like I'm this broad spectrum of just rock and roll. Like, I even like listening to the 80s and 70s rock. So like I like it all. There's not one particular musician that I really look up to besides just either, because it's like if I tried to be that one person, then I'm not going to be myself.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting, the more conceptual idea versus the personal idea, looking up to somebody and seeing that as inspiration, or the concept, like listening to a drummer or a guitar player who you hear their music and it's just like, oh, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That sort of conceptual versus the personal coming together.
It's like we can all listen to Herman Lee and Buckethead and try to be like them, but you're not going to in the end.
Why would you?
Why would you? You can play fast and shred, good for you, but are you really being yourself at that point?
Yeah.
I'm really I like the idea of self-expression through the music.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just very like punk.
Alex here.
That's very much Alec, punk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is punk still alive, do you think?
Yes.
Really?
Think so?
It may not be as alive as we want it to be, but since it's still out there, it's still there. I mean,
so what is it?
Chicago has Riot Fest every year, which is a punk festival. So it's not dead. It's just it's hiding in a corner.
There's definitely still like punk bands still around. Like, think of like right now, like the Casualties are one of my favorite punk bands, and they're still touring. Like Rancid, they're still touring.
Green Day,
like Newfound Glory.
Man, but Green Day's last thing, that was what was it, like tracks to put in commercials and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was bad.
But I when you talk like these are bands that have been around forever. Newfound Glory is one of my favorite all-time pop punk bands ever. But when you think of like, what about the new stuff coming up? And it's almost like solo acts that are like half rap, half kind of like emo punk, and that's like the new genre of punk, which to me is punk. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing that's cool or whatever. But no, I don't think that's punk at all. And but I'm like, who's new coming up in the punk scene? And there's like, where is the punk scene? But like, I'm trying to think like. In the past couple years, even like, I don't know, there's just not, it's dwindling, and I hope it comes back. You know what I mean? And you know what, dude? Machine Gun Kelly, I think that the dude's a total tool. He looks like a toothpick, and like he looks like he would not be fun. He would not be cool to hang out with, I don't feel like, but I'm not gonna lie. Some of this new, like I never heard his rap stuff, but some of this new stuff that he did with Travis, it's pretty good. And so I'm hoping that was pretty good. I hope that like it inspires some new generation to actually start a band and learn instruments and play do some new pop punk stuff.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the pop punk distinction is very interesting because 2 days ago, I was playing a show in LA with my band, and the place we were playing had a bunch of bands on the list, and the person playing before us was just a solo singer-songwriter, and she sang the most punk song I've ever heard in my life. Her closing song was "When Jesus Christ Goes Down on Me." And it's just like this little girl singing this song about, it's both like this weird, like pro-religion song in this crazy way. Like, I don't even agree with the message, but it's this pro-religion, and it's also anti-complete establishment religion because it's talking sexually about Jesus Christ. It was like, this is the most punk thing I've ever heard in my life.
Is she like on acoustic? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
It was amazing. And I was like, whoa, where else is this happening? Where are there people like just being completely subversive with their music? And I feel like pop punk kind of toes that line, or it kind of straddles the line, because it has that pop element, it has this mass appeal element, because like that song is not going anywhere. That song's not ending up on Lollapalooza. That's going to be in a dive bar in East Hollywood forever. But
yeah. So, like, lyrically, is that what you mean? Like, there's a big kind of difference.
Lyrically, attitude. Like if I think about old punk, like the Sex Pistols or something, the ethic that actually it doesn't matter how good you are at your instrument. You can be good or not. What you're doing is you're expressing an anger and a subversion. You're saying "fuck you" to the system or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's for sure. And I think more pop punk is a little bit more like, and the lyrics are centered more around like emotional, like heartache, addiction,
yep,
death, shit like that.
It's that personal aspect.
Yeah.
It's the personal realm instead of the heady ideas thing.
I think that's why Forgotten is you like it so much, because it is so personal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, gay love song's great. It's just it's fun, but Forgotten, it's just really personal to me. And like, I had some of my friends and my mom listen to it, and my mom almost started crying. It was
wow.
It was like,
a lot of people like it.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Who is that about? I'm like, it's about your ex.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's, I guess for me, I can relate more to, oh, you're talking about fuck the government. It's like, that's cool, but whatever, dude, I don't really care. But you know what I mean? Like,
that's great. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. But I can relate more to this. And like, I felt this and like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, Alkaline Trio.
Yes.
They're like one of my favorite bands. And like, their lyrics are powerful, you know? Yeah. And that's kind of just more where my brain is, and like my spirit aligns with that more than I'm already fucked the system when I walk out every day. I've been like that. I don't need to say it. Dude.
That's great.
That's
amazing. You just embody it. You don't need to talk about it.
So
that's awesome. Nice. So, Alex, you have a podcast also, right?
I do.
I think I saw this. So what is your podcast? What's its idea?
So we don't even have a name for it yet.
Is it both of you, or is it with somebody else?
Just him.
I see.
So it's me. Yeah, it's me and one of my good friends from. I do a lot of like jujitsu. It's like a huge part of my life, and it's one of my good friends from there. And he always wanted to do a podcast, and I said, sure, let's do one. So we've done like 4 or 5 casts just to kind of like feel it out and like, get us talking and kind of see where it's going to go. And we've kind of come to a conclusion that we're going to be talking kind of like relating things to jiu-jitsu, how that relates to life and like going through things. And like, there's like the next thing we're going to talk about is kind of like the loneliness epidemic of like the people in our age group, and like the breakage in society, and like how there's the disconnect, and like how can we get through that, or like what are solutions to it, and just things like that. It goes kind of deep, you know.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah. How does jiu-jitsu relate to your playing? Well, you're such a physical player. It makes sense. But.
Yeah, I'm super aggressive in jiu-jitsu. Like I'm always attacking, and I'm really fast. Like that's one thing people are always saying. Like, don't get me wrong, I get my ass beat a lot. You know what I mean? But I'm super fast, and I'm just like spinning. And I'm like doing, and I think that I try to incorporate. That's kind of similar because I'm trying to be like. There's anytime I can put a fill in or a roll or do something, dude, I'm doing it.
Like I'm fast.
Notes. Yeah. Like,
that's great.
Just being aggressive and attacking. Yeah. And people have said that. They're like, dude, you play drums like you do jiu-jitsu. Like, that's awesome.
You got the drums all tied up in a knot. I'm going to choke these drums out. That's great. Nice.
So,
yeah. Michael, do you do a podcast also?
I do not do a podcast, but kind of a segue. I'm in the martial arts as well.
Oh, cool.
It's a one way, which brings out the best martial arts of all forms, but its core is Taekwondo. And like I keep saying to Alex, I'm like, man, we gotta roll one of these days, because we do grappling, which is a bit of jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked, but I'm like, what can I learn from this?
To see, he just got his black belt too.
Oh wow!
In his martial arts, so that's really cool.
That's amazing. Congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, that's another way that we connected. Like, oh. You were an Eagle Scout? Dude, I was an Eagle Scout. I do jiu-jitsu. Oh, you kick people.
I kick people. Oh, you kick people. That's great.
I grab people's legs and like try to break them, but you kick them like, okay.
Right. You're like, I try not to let people kick me.
Yeah.
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 I was like, oh, I know a defense against that leg grab.
Oh, nice. There you go. It'd be interesting to see like how that chess game would work out. Somebody who like doesn't know Taekwondo doing just jiu-jitsu and somebody doing more Taekwondo to see how it would interface even.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we do a lot of mixed martial arts. It's not just Taekwondo.
I see.
Like I said, we do grappling, which is like jiu-jitsu, on certain days, but we also do strike sparring as well. So like if we're in a fight, we like in an actual fight and like somebody wants to go to the ground, but we only know how to strike, we're going to lose.
Right.
Or if we only know how to go to the ground, but they know how to strike, we're probably going to lose that. So this brings out the aspects of like, we know how to strike and we can kind of hold our own on the ground as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I'm really liking this art of one way. It's kind of a play with what Bruce Lee used to say. The best form is a shapeless form. Be like water.
Nice. Yeah. Does it translate into your music playing at all though? I mean, because it seems like martial arts in general, they're a combination of physicality, but also very trained and practiced physicality.
Mm-hmm. Like there's definitely a discipline to it,
right? Yeah, which playing an instrument is also. It's just very fine. It's a more particular skill.
Right.
I mean, I put similarities to martial arts and playing music all the time, like just practicing one technique over and over again until we get it crisp each time. Mm-hmm. And it's like playing guitar.
Yeah, isn't that something like you're going over a thing?
For so.
And then you don't get it for like 2 years later. But you've done it a million times.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah. My master says is like, you're not going to be an expert in a day. It's going to take over 10,000 times to do something to perfect it.
Yep. I think there's also that element of finding the confidence in yourself to execute it. Mm-hmm. Because you play music best when you're not thinking about, oh, how did that go? Oh, I hope I don't mess that up. You play it best when you have the confidence to let your body just do it.
When you're in the flow state.
Yep. And I imagine that's also true with fluid martial arts. Like if you're doing it well.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Absolutely.
Your body knows what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So what's coming up next for Glass Grenade? Do you have any shows coming up? I think I'm going to try and get this out by Thursday of this week. So 2 days.
Cool. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube and the podcast apps and all that.
Okay.
Stuff.
Awesome. What is next? Just
no shows yet, but I think we're gonna try to get song number 3 recorded.
Working on some
and also new songs. Yeah.
All right, and then are any of them up on Spotify yet?
Yes.
Gay Love Song.
Gay Love Song. Okay, cool. All right, well, everybody should go listen to that. I remember you played that last time at the Carousel, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a typo when we uploaded it on Spotify. So it's called Another Gay Love. It's Another Gay Love Song on Spotify.
Good. There's like a one where it's like, it's like a gay love song, and it's like a what's that called?
It's a song about being in love with a centaur. It's a centaur love song, but there's so many play on words with the song. Like one of my coworkers like, yeah, that song's gay. But the reason I say it's gay for one, it's happy. It's a happy song. But I also use the chords F, G, and A a lot.
Okay, interesting.
Scramble them together, you get fag.
Right.
There you go.
Yes, you do.
It's I didn't even know that. Multiple meaning translation for that one song.
Cool.
But with it being called Another Gay Love Song on Spotify, it makes me want to make a gay love song. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's going to be a gay love song and another gay love song. Yes, this will work perfectly. But now I got to do the work for that.
Well, that sounds great. So those are out on Spotify now. And Alex, what's your podcast called?
We don't have a name for it yet.
Oh, where do you find it? How do people find it?
There's one episode up on my Instagram.
Okay.
If you want to go on my Instagram, it's just full_auto_bazooka.
Yeah.
So full auto bazooka.
Yes.
But they will be up. I think the next one we're going to actually upload it to YouTube.
Okay. I see.
Probably other stuff from there, but
okay, nice. But go to your Instagram to find.
Go to my Instagram and you
podcast.
can find all that stuff.
And then Glass Grenade's got Instagram, Facebook. Are you guys on YouTube also?
No, YouTube.
We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify.
That's where
Facebook
you should listen, because then they'll get like 1,000th of a penny every time you listen. So
right,
exactly.
So just put it on repeat all day, man.
Pennies, yes.
We can go to the dollar store by the end of the year.
Yes,
yeah, right,
absolutely.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, thanks guys for talking today. Did you want to play something?
Thanks for having us.
You want to play Forgotten or? Thanks.
Dude, that was awesome. Thanks for playing that. That sounded great.
Dude, could you see us and hear us okay?
Yep. Yeah, that was
cool.
good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I'll put all your links below so everybody can find everything that you got. Listen and check them out on Spotify, Glass Grenade. Check out Alex's podcast on his Instagram, Full Auto Bazooka. Yeah, cool. Thanks for talking with me today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening or watching. Please remember to leave a comment, and subscribe to my channels. Please remember to look up Glass Grenade. Check out their Spotify, their releases one by one until they have an album. And also remember to sign up on my Patreon page if you would like to consider supporting my content generally.